Hey everybody, my name is Mr. Little, aka Better Days here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a new build style I just came up with today, known as macro building. Now, what is macro building? Essentially, it has a few small rules that sort of give you a guideline for building your structures that don't necessarily have to be followed, as you could just build block for block, as always, but the idea of macro building is to give you a sort of foundation for your structures. So, if I was to go and grab some wood, I'll just grab some basic wood planks and maybe some stripped wood as well. Some stripped oak and spruce. There we go. So then we can build a random little block like this. And we can just build it out of oak at first. And we can even leave it hollow if we want. And this will work in and of itself as a block. Now, granted, it takes up almost, what would that be, 27 times more than a usual block would. However, the upside to this is you A, get hollow walls, and B, you get a more dynamic means of shaping your house in ways that are a little more interesting, you know what I mean? So, like, you can shape it with these 3x3s, right? And it doesn't even have to be a full 3x3. But the idea is that if you use these 3x3 cubes to shape your house, then it allows you to kind of refine the shape later. So maybe you want to add some pillars in here, right? And then, heck, you can even vary these sizes by a little bit and add thirds or even 2/3 of a macro block. So you can create something like this, which again, on the other side, if you fill it in all the way, is going to have hollow walls. Especially if you expand out just a little bit. So kind of the idea, right, is this makes building modular, which is going to make it a lot easier for players that don't necessarily know how to build stuff all that easily. Which is going to make it easier for players that don't really know how to build to put together a large base that they can then hollow out and then have redstone availability for the walls. See, this is something I like about this build style, personally, is it allows for hollow walls for redstone circuits. But there are more upsides to it than just that. Say, for example, you wanted to divide your wall between 3 separate colors, right? So you've got deep slate, black stone, and cobblestone, or just normal stone, rather. So then, just like that, you have 3 segments to your wall, which allows for you to create much easier gradients between the 3 segments. As well as this, macro building can be used for terraforming in really useful ways. So the idea being that you can make your land in 3x3 chunks, right? And when you do so, it allows you to sort of mold the land a little more grandiose, I suppose, in a bit more of a grandiose way, to which you can then come in and terraform it all back later, however you want it to be. This is especially effective if you make the blocks solid, because then you can mine out the blocks that exist. Because then what we can do is we can come back around the front and we can add some smaller detail out here that really helps to just enunciate this build all that much more. As you can see, we can even do a little bit out here. And just like that, we have a little hill, and it was all started with 3 3x3 blocks. So this all seems great and everything, but the real question that I hear you asking is, why would you do this over building just normally? Why wouldn't you just build normally and instead build 3x3s for everything, when a 3x3 is so much more cost intensive? The reason for that is, I would say it's more of a guideline for your builds than an actual building style. Although you could try building something with entirely macro blocks, the idea that I've come up with here is more to demonstrate a sort of way of creating structures. A way of creating larger structures that you can then go back and edit down to be individual block structures. But it's a way of working in a larger scale without working in a larger scale, if that makes sense. So hopefully with this video, I've introduced you to a brand new building style, and I've inspired you to build your own creations, and to work forward toward creating your own things. As always, this has been Better Days, and I hope to see better days in the future for you all. Cheers!